Good everyone, I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of Platform App Builder Certification Series. It is a continuation of the data security, which we've been covering in our last two episodes. So today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the field level security, right? Until now, we have talked about org level security and object level security. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is about the field level security. So, like object security, right, where you do not allow a user to have, write or delete or update operation on an object, you can allow similar functionality on a field. So what I meant by that is take an example of an account object, right? Account object is a standard object, right? So there are different fields, right? So let's say we have a field called account site, right? And I do not want this field to be visible to certain users, right? So you can use field security in that case. For instance, like sysadmin, when sysadmin log into account object and they can view the user belonging to sysadmin can view the account side field, but whereas the users belonging to custom sysadmin should not have access to that field in terms of viewing ability or read or write, whatever, right? So let's go to account first. The first thing first, you need to log into your org, right? As usual, that's my opening statement. So please do not try this on the customer sandbox. If this is the first time you're trying this data security, please use your free developer org. Cool. That being said, I logged into my org. This is the page. The first time they will when you log in, often you see this page depending upon the time of the year watching, because the logo might change here and there, right? Okay, so let's go to this tic-tac-toe icon and go to accounts. So what we're going to do, I'm going to demonstrate. So go to this account name, right? So I've logged in as a sysadmin. So when I go to details, right, I can see this account site. No problem, right? Fantastic. Okay. Now let's go back and let's go log in as another user. Let's log in as test, right? Okay, and let's go to accounts. See, you can see, hang on, there's something not right there. Something not right there. Okay, hang on a second. Just a second. It doesn't seem right to me. It's not logging in as that specific user for whatever reason. Hang on a second. Okay, now log out as test. Okay, let me log out as test for here. Okay, let me log in again and go to accounts and go to GB pubs, and you can see that we have this accounts, all right? So what I wanted to do, I wanted to make this field invisible for the specific user, right? For whatever business reason, the business have decided that the test user should not have access to this account side field. Yeah, simple as that. Cool. Okay, go here, user here, and for log out, right? So I logged out as a test user, right? And now I'm gonna go to profile, right? So this is where I'm gonna do the changes. So the user, right? This user, a test user, it belongs to custom sysadmin profile, right? So that's where we're gonna go. Custom sysadmin profile, object settings, and go to accounts, because that's where that's the objects of our interest today. Surprisingly, the org is a bit slower today, but okay. All right, edit. Okay, now scroll down to this field permissions, right? So this is the field we are after, account side. So you can disable this, right? And you can save it. Okay. Now let's log in as the test user to see if the changes has come to effect or not. Log in. Okay, so this we are logged in as a test. As you can see, go to accounts, GB pubs, details. Voila, the field is gone, right? It's hidden or invisible, whatever you say. So this is a very simple concept, but yet very powerful, right? You might come up with a scenario in your implementation, or that customer might say, "Look, I don't want access to, I don't want to give access to certain fields to certain users." So you need to know how to do that. It's very basic, very easy concept, yet very powerful at the same time, right? So profile is one way you can do that. Another way you can do is using permission sets, as we talked about with respect to objects. So if you do not want to give, let's say you wanted to you want to restrict, or you wanted to, set a field permission for only one specific user, then you need to use permission sets. Otherwise, what happens is, if you, let's say this custom sysadmin profile comprises of 50 users, right? And if your requirement is to only enable field permission for just one user, right? Then setting on a sysadmin profile or a custom sysadmin profile will enable that field security of that, of a field on a specific object to all the users belonging to that profile, which is not what we want, right? Because you don't want to set this for every user. The requirement is to set for just one user. So in that case, you will use permission sets. Permission sets are very handy, very powerful. I've demonstrated how to use that in my previous episode when we were doing with objects. So it's a similar concept. It's nothing fancy here, right? Cool. So that's all about the field security. Very powerful concept and very simple at the same time, right? So I hope that's clear. Okay, now another thing I'm going to talk about today is the record level security, right? So right now we talked about object access, field access, org level access, right? So what if you do not want to give access to the record, right? Record are like a rows, right? For instance, account. Say, for instance, what if you don't want to give access to this GB account to a certain user? Let's say I've created a GB account and I do not want, let's say I belong to sales team, right? And I've created a GB account and I do not want this account to be visible to a marketing team. So how can we do that? So there is an option called org-wide settings. So you can do that using that. So what we're going to do, so we're going to go to the setup, the same page, and quick find, just type sharing settings, right? And this is where the magic happens. So it's strictly controlled, or you can say it's the most strict security access in terms of the record level security. Then as you go up the chain, then you have role hierarchy, we have sharing settings, then we have manual sharing. We're going to talk about it in our next episode. I just wanted to cover a little bit about this because it's important. You need to know. So we have different kind of access here. So what I'm going to do, what I normally do, go to this help for this page. It's very nice. It's very handy. So I'll take you here in a second and read about it, right? And I'll give you a rundown information about it. So let me log in. Okay, just a second. Which is it's going to take you to the page. Right, so sharing default access settings, right? So this is the page where you should be where you should be at when you are dealing with this org while default. So when you say, for instance, lead, right? Lead is set to private. So what does that mean? So when you set something to private, right? So it means that the person, owner of the record, will have access to that a specific record. Let's say I'm the owner of the leads record. I create a lead, so I become the owner of the record, right? And grant access using hierarchy. So that means my boss will have access to my records in simple terms, right? So so if you go here, so that's say private. If you read this, only the record owner and the user above that role in the hierarchy can view, edit the record, right? Simple, nice and easy. Okay, then we have a public read, public rewrite, right? So when you give a public read, that means anyone can view the record, but the person who owns the record can only edit the record, right? Nice and simple. Cool. And then we have control by parent. So control by parent is very interesting. So if you go here, see, a user can perform an action on a contact or order based on whether he or she can perform the same action in the record. Very simple, right? So you just see the example here, right? If a contact is associated with the Acme account, then a user can only edit that contact if he or she can also edit the Acme account. Very nice, a simple option, right? So I would highly encourage you to go and read this option. It's very, very easy, very simple concept, right? So when you give public full access, means everyone can read and write, the specific record. So now we have this grant access using hierarchy, right? So if you untick this option, then what happens is that only a person who creates a record can have access to it, not the person above the role hierarchy, right? That means my boss won't have access to this information, what I've created. So that's how it is, the role hierarchy works. So it's a very powerful option. So, you need to play around with it and see, try to change different settings. And so, yeah, and go through this one. And this is a very, very good information. So, and you will get more information here as well. And then sharing setting, and that we talk about next time. So that's pretty much I wanted to talk about today in terms of record level sharing as well as the field security. So this is just a tip of an iceberg, I would say, in terms of record level. Next time we're going to talk about the role hierarchy. We're going to talk about the sharing settings, right? So very nice and easy, very handy option. And you should know, if you're working on an org, how this stuff works, right? Cool. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings and adios from New Zealand. Bye-bye.